In regular e-commerce, you have buyers and you have seller. That kind of have two-way relation between seller sells to buyers, to customers. In marketplace, you have three-party relations. You have marketplace operator, you have seller, and you have buyer. And this, all of a sudden, you have a lot of lines connecting every part of your installation from product. Or who owns the product data? Is it you as a marketplace own product data, or is product data is supplied by a third-party seller? Whose price is it? Is it your price or a vendor price? And so on and so forth.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the WBS Podcast. I'm Sam Gupta, your host and principal consultant at digital transformation consulting firm Elevate IQ. Launching a business model could provide a revenue engine and competitive advantage that will be unmatched. But launching a marketplace is not easy. In fact, it's a chicken and egg problem. Your suppliers will ask you to get the customers first, and your customers will need a decent product and vendor mix before they can choose your site over other stronger brands such as Amazon. Also, the technology investments required to launch a marketplace are substantial. But at least now, some of the e-commerce platforms can provide the marketplace module as part of their bundle. In today's episode, our guest, Michael Box, shares his insights on the marketplace business model and the challenges associated with launching it. He also describes the differences between the classic and enterprise marketplaces and which businesses will be appropriate for a marketplace business. Finally, he discusses the concepts such as ownership of data, biases to customers or vendors, or the channel conflict issues among marketplace participants and operators. Let me introduce Michael to you. Michael Box has led product development at several major e-commerce platforms, vendors, Hybris, Spryker, and Elastic Path, and helped many customers innovate and move their businesses online. He is now using his experience to help businesses upskill their teams in digital commerce and develop innovative roadmaps to unlock their growth potential. With that, let's get to the conversation. Hey, Michael, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Sam. Looking forward for our conversation.
And I am super excited to have you as well. The kind of insights that you are going to have, especially the work that you are doing in the commerce space, it's going to be so exciting for our listeners. Just to kick things off, do you want to start with your personal story and current focus, Michael?
Oh, I'm not going to bore everybody with my long story. I would say just the first half of my career, I was doing real job. I was actually developing software.
Yeah.
And then I started manage companies and people, and that also was very exciting because other people were doing job, and I was just telling them what to do.
Yeah.
This may be attempt on not so good joke, but seriously speaking, about last 15, 17 years, I'm in love with e-commerce.
Yeah.
And when I initially started, which was some time ago, I thought there was nothing to do. Like there's just shopping cart. Everything is already done. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are in a super exciting industry. Everything is continuing to develop. New business models, new technologies, new architectures, new features comes along.
Yeah.
And overall, it's just people buying and selling things completely different in different way. And the kind of one of these exciting way will be marketplace that we're going to talk about. Yeah. But to finish with my personal story, I led development in three major e-commerce platform: Elastic Path, SAP Cloud Commerce, former Hybris, and recently Spryker.
Yeah.
And in all of them, actually, I tried to develop marketplace. That's kind of was twice unsuccessfully, and third one was actually my lucky one. So I started, I was CTO of Elastic Path back in Canada.
Yeah.
And I saw Apple at that time release the App Store.
Okay.
And so, wow, what's a great idea.
Yeah.
You're basically getting other people to enhance your products and also charging money for it. That really sounds really a really good idea.
Yeah.
So I prototype, and Elastic Path is one of the e-commerce platforms. They're still in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. It's a big company. And we prototyped and implemented Marketplace at that time, but unfortunately it was not really, didn't go anywhere at that point.
Yeah.
Some number of years later, I was hired into what's now SAP Commerce Cloud, Hybris, and in order to convince me to join, the manager who was hiring me say, Michael, you're going to develop Marketplace. As we know, SAP Hybris still doesn't have Marketplace. I have a partner who implements Marketplace with that. Yeah. But I was lucky at Spryker, where I was VP of product, where we actually built Marketplace. So yeah, so that was a long journey with successful ending.
Okay, amazing. So I love that you bring the marketplace element everywhere. And I love the example that you presented about Apple, that you can have other people selling on your marketplace as well. You can charge money. But obviously, there are going to be a lot of nuances to how to be successful with the marketplace. We know that Apple is very successful. We know that Amazon is very successful. But not every company is going to be successful just because you can build a marketplace. So we are going to be talking all of that, what is required to be successful in the marketplace business. But before we do that, we have one of the standard questions that we ask every single guest, Michael. And that is going to be your perspective on business growth.
Business goals are always, I think for every business, is make your customers happy. Make your customers to come back for more and help you to grow revenue.
Yeah.
So I think a marketplace business model helps to achieve both of this.
Yeah.
We can go into details later in conversation how you can make money, for what business it works. But overall, that's the two things: make your customer happy and make them to come for more.
Yeah. Love it. Love that perspective. So let's dig right into the marketplaces, right? And you are super excited, to talk about that. You wanted to build marketplaces everywhere, wherever you went. And then those companies also wanted you to build the marketplace, which is very exciting. But when we look at the marketplace, it could mean a lot of things to different people, right? So number one thing, let's talk about different stakeholders that are going to be involved in the marketplace business. And we are also going to be talking about their sort of user journeys as they are going to be interacting with the marketplace, and then what are going to be their benefits? Why should they be hanging out on the marketplace? So whether you talk about the marketplace provider or you talk about the companies that are trying to sell the products on the marketplace, they all are going to have a lot of different benefits, right? That's why marketplaces are so successful. So do you want to provide the stakeholders their journeys and their benefits?
It's a super good question. I think you're really getting what we're talking about. But for benefit of our listener, I also want to give some examples, different examples of different marketplaces, because we as consumers, we all used to buy on marketplaces. And this helps to understand what marketplace is, but also doesn't give us a full picture when it comes to the business. And sometimes you can see the business that is marketplace from digital commerce implementation perspective, but we as consumers wouldn't perceive it this way. So let me give you a bit more flavor there, and then we go and answer your question, because I think it's really key to understanding all different actors and how they interact. So first of all, we're talking about here about your business becoming a marketplace, not your business selling on somebody else's marketplace, which I think you had already a great podcast on this topic. We're talking about you becoming marketplace. Then there are two main categories of marketplaces. One, I call it classical or standard marketplace.
Okay.
You basically saying, I'm going to operate marketplace. I'm going to invite buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
And they're going to create, customers will come and they're going to buy from all my different sellers. I'm going to collect commissions and whatever else revenue streams I can have. So this I call classic marketplace. And we're all familiar with this. Like it can be a services marketplace, like Airbnb, or eBay is a classic example of this, or Etsy, or many others.
Yeah.
But there's other type marketplace, what Gartner defined as enterprise marketplace.
Okay.
And the main difference here is that you as an enterprise already selling a lot of different products in your e-commerce infrastructure.
Yeah.
And you want to extend what you sell, what products you sell, what offer you sell, and invite additional sellers to contribute to add to your products, to catalog, to customer experience, and increase selection, and so on. Yeah. So this is called enterprise marketplace.
Okay.
And for enterprise marketplaces, there's really no limitation. Practically every business can benefit from becoming enterprise marketplace.
Yeah.
For example, Walmart. We all know that they opened also a marketplace, and they invited a lot of sellers, including Shopify sellers. Or let's take Best Buy.
Yeah.
They're selling electronics, but they also have third-party service providers, third-party sellers who sell their products there, and basically provides a broader assortment, a better experience, and there's no reason for customers to leave because they can find anything.
Yeah.
So these are two main things, kind of really to understand the classical marketplace and enterprise marketplace.
Yeah.
Classical marketplace, there are some challenges because nobody's going to compete with Alibaba or Amazon. These guys are too big and all.
Yeah.
So classical marketplace still exists and still quite popular.
Yeah.
But they should be in a niche. It should be okay. I'm focusing on hospitality products. Or I'm focusing on providing photography services.
Yeah.
So it cannot be broad, just because broad it's very difficult to do, because it's kind of chicken and egg. You cannot have buyers before you have sellers, but sellers won't come until you have buyers. So
exactly.
It's quite difficult. This business model requires a lot of marketing investment and so on. But there are a lot of classical marketplaces, both in B2B and in B2C.
Okay.
Yeah? For example, one of the customers that we were dealing with was a company called Sourceability.
Okay.
It's US company, has several millions of different products.
Okay.
They basically, if you need components, you're doing some electronics, you're developing some electronic device.
Yeah.
You need components there. So it's worldwide marketplace for all possible electronic components you can buy. Yeah, like, for example. But there's also a lot of enterprise marketplace. For example, Toyota has enterprise marketplace for all the spare parts and some additional equipment providers. The same you can find, for example, for Siemens. Has a marketplace for this. Like Siemens Mobility, a special marketplace that they all products related to mobility, to railways, tracks, spare parts, or beyond this one place. You can go and you can do it. I can give you another example of enterprise marketplace, which really nice one. It's one of the Spryker customer. There's a company called Prim. And this is a German company that is 500 years old.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Like, there's a company who is still operational, still private company, one of these what's called German hidden giants.
Oh wow!
And they're 500 years old. So, if you on your jacket, you had probably the button that clicks.
Yeah.
Everybody has it.
Yeah.
So those guys had a patent on it 150 years ago.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of company. They're doing a lot of things for kind of for craft.
Yeah.
For sewing, for knitting, things like that. So despite the age, it's quite solid age, they're super innovative and ahead in the digital journey. So they implemented their own e-commerce infrastructure. And now they're moving to marketplace. The question is why? They manufacture, they sell through multiple channels. They have a big distribution chains that are selling them. But they also have a lot of small kind of neighborhood shops. Where some in neighborhoods, women coming there to get classes, to learn how to knit and things like that. So they onboarding all these small shop owners as a merchant on their platform, so they can resell their products. Also, they can create their class, define their classes. In this case, we talk about services as a product. Register people for their classes, or offers their own design. We can create bundles of product with their own thing. So this is kind of really innovative way of using marketplace model.
So very interesting insights there. I like the way you segmented the marketplace in terms of your classic marketplace as well as slightly more advanced marketplace. And I think you're using the term enterprise marketplace for that.
That's what Gartner introduced this term about 2 years ago.
Very cool. So in the classic marketplace, obviously, this is going to be sort of the buy-sell model. You can probably sell just the product. It's not going to be, you are not really augmenting the other services. So I don't know whether you are going to call, let's say, Walmart or Amazon as the enterprise marketplace versus the classic. In my mind, they would be more of the classic marketplace because you are not really augmenting Amazon's product you are selling. They are actually trying to sell their own product in conjunction with what Amazon is trying to sell. So I don't know where the line is overall in terms of the classic versus the enterprise. Do you want to touch base a little bit on that?
In classic marketplace, marketplace operator does not sell. Has no products.
So the operator does not sell. So that's the traditional. How would you?
It's like eBay, Airbnb. Airbnb owns no apartments.
Right. So those are going to be slightly more platform companies. Those are going to be slightly more tech companies that don't necessarily have any sort of offerings. They are simply the enabler for other buyers and sellers to be able to sell in the classic. But in case of enterprise, you may have your own offering. You are sort of collaborating with other service partners or the product partners. They are trying to sell their products. You are trying to sell your products, and you are sort of going together, as part of the business model. But when I look at the overarching picture of the marketplace is a business model change in my mind. The way I like to think. It can provide a lot of opportunities, not only for the companies that want to move in the marketplace model, because that's going to open the floodgate that, number one, you can augment your product offerings, but you can enable other sellers to sell their products as well. So as you correctly pointed out that, consumers are going to have far more options. So they are not going to leave your website. And the sellers are going to have the advantages as well, because now they are going to have far more channels to be able to attack and to be able to sell. But when you look at the marketplace business model, it's not easy to implement. And number two, it is not going to be applicable for everybody. So now I'm going to ask you this question. Is marketplace model going to be for everybody? The example that you mentioned, so either tech companies are trying to launch these marketplaces, some of the larger retailers, some of the larger OEMs, I think those are the examples you offered. Now, if I look at my SMB manufacturer or distributor, is marketplace going to be applicable for them? Can they benefit by launching a marketplace business model?
Of course, this is decisions that every business should take on their own. But in general, especially enterprise marketplace business model, there's no limitation why it cannot be used by many different businesses. Doesn't matter what industry, B2C or B2B, especially in distributors. Because look at this way. You as a business already invested money and implemented your great digital commerce infrastructure. I assume it's great. It's always can be improved, but let's say that it's you have it. So with a very incremental cost, you can expand assortment of products So it's kind of have endless shop. Yeah?
Okay.
You can do it without risk of keeping inventory.
Okay.
Because basically you don't. The third-party sellers risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also maybe if for you the volume of this additional kind of long tail products, let's say, may not be sufficient, maybe not justified to go and buy them and keep them in inventory, have a supplier relation, all of that.
Yeah.
But for your third-party sellers, it may be a really good idea. Yeah? Always, also, you may think about this not only about products, but think about services.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a manufacturer, and there are some company who provide training on your products or services on your product and so on.
Yeah.
So you can bring them together, and you, in this case, you actually making relation with them stronger because you're providing value to your partners.
Yeah.
And also to your customers, because now they can not only buy these products, they can also say who can provide training for me, who can do installation for me, who can sell me spare parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely any business can look at this as a kind of the next step in the digital journey. Yeah. Like first, of course, you need to take care of your own, be able to sell efficiently and have good digital commerce infrastructure.
Yeah.
But then it can be quite valid use case. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're reducing your risk. You're reducing customer acquisition costs for your third-party merchants. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're generating extra revenue because one thing we haven't talked about marketplace revenue models. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is there's a lot of different things that can how you can make money as a marketplace operator. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obvious thing, you can take commission from your sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many marketplaces now have also advertising model.
Yeah.
And marketplaces also provide some additional services for merchants. For example, fulfillment services or quality control service or customer support service, which you also can charge money. Yeah. So there's basically you're getting a little risk, better customer experience, you're selling more, and you also can earn money.
Yeah, so very interesting. Now let's talk, about the fundamentals of the business model. So obviously, let's say if you have a marketplace like Amazon or Walmart, where you have millions of customers, I have no problem in selling my products to marketplace, even though they are going to charge the higher commission, and there is an argument for the commission as well. Since you are going to be introducing, typically when I talk to my manufacturer customers, they see marketplace as the middleman, okay? Especially in the B2B scenario. So for them, if somebody is charging the commission, who is paying for it? Is the consumer going to pay for it? Or are there going to be a real economy of scale because the product cost is going to increase? So as a consumer, I have two choices. I can either go to a marketplace or I can go or buy directly from the supplier, right? So I don't know who is really paying for in case of marketplace. Are there going to be enough economy of scale to be able to consume that cost that is going to be because of either the commission or advertising? I am actually paying. So when I'm selling on Amazon or Walmart, I am paying to Amazon or Walmart.
Sure. But on the other hand, if you think about this, not just consumer marketplace. Let's say you need to buy some spare parts from manufacturer.
Yeah.
And you go to the first place you go will be manufacturer side. And here you're also going to have, if you see some third-party suppliers, the distributors are selling this, you know that actually marketplace operator, which in this case manufacturer itself, really checks them. They know that only quality sellers will be able to sell there. And also it's all kind of tied together with the product information. You may already have customer account because you may be customer of this manufacturer and so on. So there's a lot of convenience there to do. Also, I think that it's not always, again, we're putting kind of consumer assumptions into this discussion. For example, I know B2B manufacturer where basically you go one place, I'm looking for spare part. I need to have spare part. And everybody is selling the same price. Price actually may be the same. Because again, it's B2B, it's maybe contractual stuff, but they're going to prioritize supplier who is closer to you as a customer, can deliver faster.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are different ways of different benefits of those. It's not always money and different prices and commissions. Yeah, in B2B world it can be quite different. It may be quality of service, quality of suppliers, and the fact that you have kind of more certainty that this will be good suppliers. They're going to provide you right parts and so on.
Yeah, so very interesting. And again, in case of the consumerized marketplace, things could be different. But let's talk about B2B, right? So in case of B2B, I don't know if you are familiar with some of the marketplaces that are popping up. In case of manufacturing, called Fictive. Fictive is one of the marketplaces. So what they are doing is, rather than going to the individual supplier, now you can actually provide your port, whatever part you are looking for. They are going to do a little bit of scrutiny. They are going to connect you with the right supplier. They are going to provide you the right technology platform for you to be able to sell. So it's going to be benefit for the supplier. It's also going to be benefit for the customer because you have the vendor reliability, vendor risk, etc. But again, go back to your marketplace business model. Marketplace business model is not successful for everybody because sometimes it's going to be, let's say, if you are not really good at tracking your vendors, and if you are not really good at assuring the quality of those vendors, then what is going to happen is your brand is going to be associated with that marketplace. So let's say if I am actually ordering a part from a vendor, and let's say if your supplier fails, then it's going to be a failure on your part, right?
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of different moving parts in enabling the marketplace business model. So do you have any recommendations in terms of what you see in the market when you design the marketplace business model?
Absolutely. One of the challenge in implementing marketplaces
is
a quality of product data and consistency of product data.
Yeah.
Because basically every vendor may have their own what's called product taxonomy. It's what kind of categorization you apply, what kind of product data you apply. But when you as a consumer coming to marketplace, you need to have some standard approach. You don't want to be confused. If several people selling the same iPhone, but calling it in a different way, or not providing proper versioning, and all of that. So one of the problem for marketplaces, especially for those who have a lot of products, and also who have situations when multiple merchants can be selling the same product. That's actually not easy to implement. You need to make sure that you're bringing information into consistent way.
Okay.
And then some marketplace technology vendor even provide some software to basically deduplication. So it's possible that merchant submitting a product, but you already have this product in your catalog. And in this case, you want to really bring this technology, brings this product information together and making sure that it's consistent and making sure that pictures correspond to the text and it's in the right categories and all of that. So that's absolutely one of the problem we have. But marketplace can also help in this, because marketplace, if your manufacturer who created marketplace, manufacturer has the best product information.
Okay.
Because they basically building it. And then let's say you're a distributor. You don't need to create this product information from scratch. You don't need to try to tape it. You basically can say, oh, this part or this device, I'm selling it. So in marketplace, there's this such notion we call offer. So you have a product, and product has all product information, all these attributes, all that. But me as a seller, I'm making offer to sell that product. So for me, actually, it's easier to start selling the product because I only need to provide price and my stock. That's all. All product description, product pictures already in place. And then you can have multiple vendors selling the same product, and depending again on business model, it can they can either compete or maybe not, because they may also serve different geographies.
So very interesting comment there related to product data, and I am going to go a little deeper in terms of the challenges that I personally see with the manufacturers and distributors, and even distributors have to retain their own market share. And since you mentioned a comment that manufacturers typically have the right product data because they are the ones who are actually producing the product. So they might have your SKU, they might have product description, they might have pictures, they might have lot number, serial number if you're using all of that, right? But now when it comes to distributors, obviously distributors are sort of the middleman. if you really think about them, right? So they have to protect their own market share because they are always afraid that, what if my manufacturer actually takes over my business? So they have to do something. So typically what they do is they are either going to white label that or repackage that or going to align the product to their warehouse needs, because then you have to either repackage the bulk products, and maybe you are selling them in the individual sellable units. So there are going to be certain changes. So how do you control these things when it comes to marketplace? For example, let's say you have a part from the manufacturer, but your distributor actually changed the product data. So how do you ensure that this is all going to tie together? And when distributor is simply trying to repackage that, reconfigure that, how are you going to ensure that distributors' interests are going to be protected as well as manufacturers' interests?
Sam, super good topic and very challenging one, because basically we're talking about how to make sure that you're not creating sales channel conflict.
Exactly.
Yeah? Like that's basically what it is. Yeah. And distributors are in very difficult position because, as I said, they're middlemen, and internet is all about eliminating middlemen. Yeah. Like that's basically what internet's a killer field for middlemen.
Yeah.
However, there is also huge opportunity for them, and I see a lot of actually interest in between distributors in creating marketplace or be part of a marketplace.
Yeah.
There are several reasons for it.
Yeah.
So distributors can also create their own marketplace, and then they can provide place for multiple manufacturers to actually be vendors, because it's possible that a distributor creates marketplace.
Yeah.
That's also possible, yeah. And in this case, manufacturer become different suppliers to them, different merchants who can sell the. I don't know. You buying air conditioning and or air conditioning equipment, you can have multiple suppliers from it, yeah.
Yep.
In addition, some of these manufacturers may not have a digital infrastructure. Remember, like you and me are in this industry, we assume that everybody is already using TikTok to sell all their products, but not everybody does. Yeah.
Yep.
So if a distributor is really taking the kind of this digital road seriously and want to be ahead of everybody, they can actually create this infrastructure.
Okay.
And then invite multiple manufacturers, suppliers to basically contribute there, and they can provide interfaces for their customers to buy wood. For example, we talked to one Israel distributor of really commodity products who supplies these corner shops, And this is what they're going to do. They basically saying, hey, we're also giving great interface for these small shops to place B2B orders for it, and they can do it across suppliers, and they can say, I want to have Coca-Cola, I want to have chewing gum, whatever,
Sure.
And so there's a role for distributors to basically jump on this marketplace wagon and be very successful, Also, what I see is that some of the distributors, because they're middlemen and they're looking for different ways to add value. And they can do it by providing some additional services around stuff they talk. I'm talking, of course, for B2B cases. And then services can also be offered on the same marketplace, and makes a lot of sense for them.
Okay, amazing. So let's talk about, obviously, when you are going to be creating the marketplace, whether you are creating for either the distributor or the manufacturer, you are always going to be slightly biased in your marketplace. And I'll give you two examples, okay? So when I say bias, either you have to be biased to your customers or you have to bias to your vendors, depending upon who you care for more. So for example, the way Amazon marketplaces, we all know that Amazon loves their customers, okay? But they don't love as much their vendors, okay? So if there are going to be any conflict, there are going to be any problems, who's going to suffer? It's going to be vendor. Now, let's take the second example. I don't know whether you have followed the Best Buy news. Obviously, Best Buy was really suffering overall from their business model.
Yes.
They have tried a lot, and finally what they have done is now they are actually trying to launch their own marketplace. There is a difference though between how Amazon approaches the marketplace versus how Best Buy approaches the marketplace. In case of Best Buy, okay, they are far more vendor friendly, and there are always going to be pros and cons of which approach you want to take, whether you want to be more customer friendly or you want to be more vendor friendly. So in your experience, what would you recommend? Whether the company should be more customer friendly or they should be more vendor friendly?
I really think that it's decisions that every business needs to make, because there's multiple different business parameters, and from technology perspective, it really doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's really more processes, procedures, and some pricing rules, and all of that you can do. Yeah, so it's also possible that sometimes you don't have this conflict. For example, I don't know, one example of marketplace that I have not mentioned was a group of dealerships.
Okay.
Yeah, of auto dealerships.
Yeah.
So there's one entity as a group that owns all dealerships, but they set up this infrastructure that will benefit entire group.
Yeah.
They set up each dealership as a merchant.
Yeah.
Yeah. They provide central catalog because everybody is selling kind of the same car. But inventory, even pricing, availability is different per dealership. So in this case, you have symbiosis when basically everybody has the same interest. But I understand what you're saying. I just think that this is a pure business question. You can decide, depending on your marketing strategy, depending on your business strategy, which way you kind of want to pull. From technology perspective, you can do either way. Yeah. And this is really just business strategy, and you have flexibility. You also not necessarily can go just one way and okay, customer always right, and I punish my channels immediately. Yeah, yeah. That is something that of course needs to be taken very very carefully. Yeah. There's also conflict between, for example, online sales versus selling to salespeople.
Yeah.
And there are now tools to solve this as well, because you can give your salespeople tools to be more productive on selling using online technology. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about technology now. So you mentioned that, from the technology perspective. Mm-hmm. So I was having a conversation with my manufacturing friend, and obviously when you have the success of marketplaces, whether you talk about Airbnb, in my mind, even Uber is a marketplace, when you talk about things like, Fictive, again, in the manufacturing space now, marketplaces are booming. So I was having this conversation with my manufacturing friend. Obviously, when you look at the manufacturing business model, they have to work hard. They have to install all of these machines. They have to produce parts. And then finally, a middleman is probably going to take 20% of their margin. So obviously, it's not as comfortable experience for them if you really think from their perspective. So he was like, you know what, marketplace is super cool. That's the go-to-market strategy. Everybody should be coming, with the marketplace. You have no skin in the game overall from your operational perspective. But they don't realize how difficult it is to, number one, start a marketplace business. Number two, create that technology infrastructure. That requires a lot of investment. A lot of people don't understand how expensive an enterprise software is that is going to scale for your enterprise needs. And in case of marketplace, that's a big deal. Not everybody can afford that. So in your experience, let's say I am a distributor and I'm thinking I'm going to hire a bunch of interns and they are going to write me code and they are going to create me marketplace. Is that possible?
Well, I don't think hiring interns, if you're serious about this, will get you anywhere. Doesn't matter if you building marketplace or just building e-commerce site. Yeah, we're of course not talking about kind of simple consumer Shopify style site. First of all, you're right. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But there's also good news, because now more and more e-commerce vendors support a marketplace functionality out of the box.
Okay.
Yeah? So let me first tell you what's the difference between regular e-commerce and marketplace e-commerce. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really boils down to in regular e-commerce you have buyers and you have seller.
Yeah.
That kind of have two-way relation between seller sells to buyers, to customers. In marketplace, you have three-party relations. You have marketplace operator, you have seller, and you have buyer.
Yeah.
And this all of a sudden you have a lot of lines connecting every part of your installation from product. Who owns the product data? Is it you as a marketplace own product data, or is product data is supplied by a third-party seller? Whose price is it? Is it your price or a vendor price? And so on and so forth. So you do need to implement a lot of kind of different ways in your digital commerce infrastructure. So you need to have ability, first of all, to have these merchants, because these merchants, they need to be registered in your system somehow. You need to have information about, you need to have merchant profile. How to contact them, their opening hours, their reviews, kind of everything like that. Then for every product you do, you need to know, okay, whose product is it? Some links. This product is this merchant. This product is not this merchant. If you have situation where multiple merchants selling the same product, you need to introduce this concept of offer. Which is some additional kind of entity, additional term, and additional implementation that to have it. And then in your shopping cart, you need to really mix, be able to mix products from different merchants, from different offers, which requires some changes. And then it comes to orders. I'm placing the order. Let's say I bought one product from one merchant and 3 products from another merchant. I'm placing, as a consumer, I'm placing one order. But it will be fulfilled by different merchants. So you need to have functionality to split the order into one product goes to merchant 1, 3 other product goes to merchant 2. So you need to split it. They're going to have their own fulfillment. Maybe one of them is big and having ERP system, so they have they integrated with your marketplace. You're getting all updates and all of that. And maybe other is small, and they basically just taking product from a shelf in their garage, putting it in a box, and shipping it. So fulfillment processes are different, but to consumer, it should be a consistent interface, and you as marketplace operator responsible for this. Payment is very different because I'm as consumer paying you $100 for this order. 5% maybe go to commission, then 20 goes to merchant 1, the rest goes to merchant 2. So there's different complexity with payments that again needs to be implemented. And I'm not even talking about returns and cancellation, which creates a lot of different. You need to provide also, you need to have additional interfaces for marketplace operator to monitor the merchants. To do reporting on them, to do approval of them, to do approval of their products, provide some centralized customer support and all of that. And your merchants also need to have backend interfaces. Because they need to manage their own products, their own offers, their own orders. And kind of like that. So yes, there's a lot of functionality to do, and not every e-commerce vendor actually has this functionality out of the box. However, there's more and more vendors do. It means that you can buy your e-commerce platform and then implement your e-commerce infrastructure. And then you can also buy marketplace functionality on top of your e-commerce platform. So things are getting better, and vendors are doing this because of how popular the business model is. More and more customers are asking for it.
So here, when I talk to my customers, they typically don't even have the centralized inventory. They're probably e-commerce is not even connected to ERP systems. That's the sort of state of the small to medium-sized manufacturers and distributors. Here, now we are talking about a very specialized e-commerce system that can handle far more order complexity overall, how you are dissecting the orders, how you are splitting, how you are consolidating, how you are invoicing. It's all different transaction processing. By the way, even if you can find the e-commerce system that is going to be marketplace compliant, you still need an ERP system, which is going to be slightly more sophisticated to handle all of these scenarios. I don't know if your plain vanilla ERP systems may be capable of doing all of this, but in my mind, when I look at all of this, when you have the different kind of commission structure that you are splitting to different vendors, that has to go to your ERP. So have you seen any specific platforms that are there in the market that are going to be slightly friendlier to marketplace business model, or are these companies trying to create everything from scratch, which could be a very, very, very large investment? And only the enterprise companies probably can afford it. And average SMB customers might not be able to afford. So do you have any specific platforms that are going to be slightly friendlier for the marketplace?
There's number of platform. Before we go, first, well, there's two types of scenarios here, setups you can do. We call it one system marketplace or two systems marketplace. Let me explain what it is. Yeah, in a two system marketplace, you have separate systems that provides your e-commerce functionality. One, it will be system number one. And the second system number two, that actually provides you marketplace functionality. So you can look at the system number one as interface to your customers, and system number two is interface to your sellers, to your merchants. Yeah. So, for example, you may have this marketplace provider which is working in this scenario is a Miracle. It's the most common and most advanced system only for big companies. So in that scenario, you can have Magento, or you can have, let's say, SAP Commerce Cloud as your e-commerce system, and they have pre-integrated adapters with Miracle. We can do. There are other type of implementation which I call one system. Basically, where one vendor provides both e-commerce functionality and marketplace functionality. Such systems are Spryker. You can buy B2C or B2B commerce, and then buy marketplace on top of it. But it won't be separate system. It will be kind of big upgrade, like additional modules to install versus completely two different implementations, or different licenses. The other company would be VTX, and for B2B, the open source B2B platform called Oro that just recently released marketplace. Yesterday, I saw that Fashion.io, which is a kind of headless e-commerce, just announced that they're going to support marketplace. So things are not as bad as kind of when I tried to implement marketplace first time 10 years ago. So there's a lot of things that out of the people can basically build upon versus build from scratch. But you're right. Every company should have priorities. And many customers are, especially in B2B, kind of looking at this way. They're saying, first, I want to implement my own e-commerce infrastructure. Because without that, I shouldn't think about basically building airplane until I have a train or at least a car to go around. So they're building first their own digital infrastructure. Then they're saying, okay, year from now or year after, I want to extend it and move kind of to next step in my digital transformation, next step in my digital maturity, and add marketplace and invite third-party sellers into this. So it's quite common that people kind of look at this kind of two-step approach.
All right, amazing. So it was a lot of fun. That's it for today, Michael. Do you have any last-minute closing thoughts or remarks for our listeners?
I think to be open-minded, to look at strategically on what marketplace business model can give to you. Look at your current suppliers, partners, service providers that can benefit. And of course, as you mentioned, see how to implement it in a way that will avoid channel conflicts, but brings value to everybody. Okay, amazing. And my personal takeaway from this conversation is going to be, whether you are simply a distributor, manufacturer, retail company, you can benefit by marketplaces, whether you are simply competing on them because they are going to be additional channels for you, or you are creating your own marketplace. In any case, the marketplaces are here to stay and they are going to benefit everybody. So make sure you at least understand the business model and how you can take advantage of that. On that note, Michael, I really want to thank you for your time. This has been a powerful episode. Thank you, Sam. It was my pleasure.
I cannot thank our guests enough for coming on the show, for sharing their knowledge and journey. I always pick up learnings from our guests, and hopefully you learned something new today. If you want to learn more about Michael, head over to commerceisdigital.com. It's commerceisdigital.com, and check his digital commerce canvas framework and course, Digital Commerce for Your Business. Links and more information will also be available in the show notes. If anything in this podcast resonated with you and your business, you might want to check other related episodes, including the interview with Paul Sonneveld, who discusses the marketplace expansion strategy for e-commerce sellers or manufacturers aspiring to expand their footprint through digital commerce. Also, the interview with Brian Beck from NCBA, who discusses key trends in B2B e-commerce, including the rise of Amazon's prominence in B2B product research and buying, and why manufacturers and distributors should be paying attention and acting now. Also, don't forget to subscribe and spread the word among folks with similar backgrounds. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please review and rate us on your favorite podcasting platform or DM me on any social channels. I'll try my best to respond personally and make sure you get help. Thank you, and I hope to catch you on the next episode of the WBS Podcast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.